To get right into it tonight, we're just going to be talking about the TikTok algorithm. And it's really important that we understand how to work with the TikTok algorithm. And a lot of you may not know this, but it actually has like 14 rules. And these rules are there to help. They're kind of like guidelines. I wouldn't say they're rules, but guidelines to help you get seen on TikTok and help you, really strategize your content around these guidelines so that you are landing on the For You page. And we're going to do a little bit of CTAs today too. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And I'm pretty sure you guys can see all that, right? Let me move me over for a second. And here we go. I'm going to move that. Sorry, guys, I'm just getting situated here. Okay, let me go back because I was reviewing. Okay, you guys can all see that. All right, so the TikTok algorithm, mastering the TikTok algorithm. There are 14 kind of guidelines. We're going to go through all of them tonight. I don't think it'll take very long, but it's there to help you boost engagement and reach these, with proven strategies. And it's better for you so your content can get seen. So why you want to understand why these matter? Because you want to be landing on the For You page. A lot of you may not know what that is, but that For You page is where all your discoverability happens. So it's not random, okay? It's not a point system either, although some people say it is, it's not. But it's powered by an algorithm, and that algorithm analyzes how the users and your audience are interacting with your content, okay? So if you understand what that algorithm looks like, you can create content that gets shown to more people. So this is why there's a strategy, understanding how to work with the algorithm, and that's what I do, and that's what I'm going to teach tonight. So this means more than just reach, it's more engagement, more opportunities to grow your brand, and ultimately sell your product. So over here on the right, basically you create content and then that piece gets pushed out to a couple hundred people, and TikTok analyzes it. It sees if people are interacting with it. The algorithm looks at it, right? And then it's not really a score, but it will look at all the things that we're talking about tonight. So I wouldn't say again it's a point system, but it is weighted in certain ways. So we're going to cover that tonight. And this is how you get on the For You page, okay? So rule number one, what is most, I guess, held high in the TikTok algorithm is watch time. Okay, so what is watch time? It means how long a user or an audience member watches your video. Okay, so we want to keep them glued. How do you do that? We keep them with fast cuts, stories, motion, give a lot of value. Okay, definitely like last week, having a good hook and a sub hook. So you guys can see here, this is a picture of one of my data or my analysis. You want to look at your data. So your watch time's right here, average watch time. Most of you guys have like 5 to 6 seconds. That watch time we got to improve, okay? Because why? Because TikTok is looking for at least 15 seconds. I say 20 to 30 just to be safe. But TikTok wants to see your people watching at least 15 seconds, and that's going to then push it out to the next group of people, right? So having a long watch time is going to help your video. So number two, high like and share rates. Okay. So I always tell, like, this is what we're talking about tonight is our CTAs. We want to give CTAs in our call to actions in our video, like, hey, save and share this video or share and like this video, right? Because that's going to help definitely get people to do something, because a lot of times people, you got to tell them what to do or they don't do it, right? So likes and shares are really good. That's going to help push your content out, okay? Number three is active comment section. Okay, so whenever you make a video, another kind of good call to action would make sure that people are commenting. So you got to tell them, hey, what's your biggest struggle? Or listen, comment ready or something like that, because you want to trigger questions. You want to trigger an emotion. You want to get people talking, because why? Again, this is triggering the algorithm to help push your video out. These are the guidelines of the algorithm. So high watch time, likes and shares, lots of comments, that's considered engagement, okay? And now high completion rate, that's a little different than watch time, okay? That's number four. Completion rate is like here, the second arrow, watched full video, you're gonna get a percentage. But So they watch a long time or they watch all the way through. So if you can get someone to watch your video all the way through, that's fantastic. That's really going to trigger the algorithm. TikTok's going to be like, oh my God, this video is amazing. She watched it all the way through. Let's keep pushing it out. So what do you want to do then? To honor that strategy, keep your video kind of short, right? We kind of talked about this before. If it's short and only like 8 seconds, it's more likely that your audience is going to watch that all the way through, triggering the algorithm to push it out further, right? So keep your videos kind of short if you can. Not every video is going to be a meme. We want to have some talking ones in there, but every other day or 3 or 4 times a week, have some of these kind of shorter ones, okay? Because that's going to help your video get out, okay? Okay, number 5, frequent replays. So the more people rewatch your video, like loops and cliffhangers, that equals repeat views. So people are going to watch, or TikTok's going to push that video out more. That's why I say TikTok tips are great. Why? Because if people are going to have to watch it again to see what you did, or it's like a weird little cliffhanger, like they can't tell what's going on and they might watch it again. So again, a very short video. So frequent replays or rewatches, those work really, really well. Number 6, new followers. Okay, so every time you get more followers on your video, it helps push it out. That's a statistic you want to look at, right? If you're watching are looking at your data and you're not getting a lot of followers, then TikTok's probably not going to push that out. Okay, so how do you fix that? You just say, follow me. Follow me if you want to learn more. Like, these are CTAs. That's why they kind of go with the algorithm, because it really does strategize to work with the algorithm, get your videos pushed out, right? So new followers, they look at that, okay? Number 7, relevant hashtags and captions, okay? So like we went over a couple weeks ago, SEO is so, so important, and a lot of people don't use it well and they don't know how to do it. That's why I started like really early on in the community teaching SEO. Okay, so using trending hashtags and niche specific hashtags with clear captions, right? Everything on the video that we talked about, make sure in its alignment, make sure it's on topic, it's synonymous, right? That's going to help. So you mix a little bit of the topic ones with the niche hashtags. That's going to help, again, TikTok go, oh, I know what she's talking about, or I know what he's talking about. He's talking about, digital marketing or online business. So you're more likely to get indexed. TikTok knows how to categorize you. So when people actually come to search for that video, you're more likely to be seen and actually land on the For You page. So that's really important. Okay. Number 8 is profile engagement. Okay. When people come to your profile and they, click on your link, that's all part of engagement on your profile. So that would look like, again, clicking on your username, visiting your profile page, tapping through to see more of your videos, clicking on your link, like I just said, or following you after watching a video, right? So I always say that, follow me for more, or, definitely click on my link is a good one, but it doesn't really encourage engagement. So it's good to have it in there, but then also have a CTA that says, listen, comment this or comment that, whatever you want them to do. Okay. So TikTok tracks all of these behaviors and it definitely sends a strong signal. Okay. So that's 8 of them so far. Okay. Number 9, popular sounds. This is kind of what we talked about before we started recording. Okay. You want to be leveraging trending audio. Trending audio tracks, they can actually push out your content more, but you got to use them strategically. Okay, so if you're in the community and you haven't tried out the TikTok tips that are in the community, I strongly suggest you do. They're the TikTok toolkit, excuse me, because it does have it has this trending sound, but then it has the way to use the sound. Because a lot of times people will use these trending sounds, but they don't really go with the video at all. So then they're missing out on the trend. Okay, so you got to use it strategically. But when you align that sound with an emotion or a message, especially like a motivational audio with a tip about selling your first digital product, that's good, right? Either you're doing a funny trending sound, that's cool, like with the relatable creator mistake, those kind of things. That's why the TikTok toolkit that's in the community is really good, because she gives you the sound and how to use it, right? The lip singing with the message is always really good, right? Just make sure you're using the right kind of audio with your message, okay? So it goes together. Otherwise, you're missing out because people will try to use these like viral dance video sounds and then they use it on like an educational video and it doesn't work at all. And they're like, but I used a trending sound. Yeah, because you didn't use it in the right way. Okay, so just be wary of that. Trending sounds would be something over here like that has in the millions. It says popular. That's good. It doesn't have to be in the millions, but something with a big post count. So when I say post count, it means like how many times it's been used. Okay, so you can see that there. Millions might actually be even too big. I try to go between like 250K to like a million because it's kind of like hashtags in the sense if you use one that's just so popular, it can get kind of lost if you don't have a big creator account. So I would use maybe ones between 250,000 to 500, a little less than a million, but of course, try it out, right? Everybody's algorithm is a little different. Okay, so number 10, quality visuals. This is important. Okay, if you do not have an up-to-date iPhone or Samsung and it's a really dinosaur phone, your videos are not going to be very high quality. And TikTok really does push out videos that are, bright, clear, edited well. Make sure the lens is clear. You clean it off with your little microcloth or something. Because if your video is cloudy, or it's not the best lighting, or you're not using natural light, it's going to affect your push out rate, how fast TikTok pushes it out, because it's looking at, again, one of these 14 guidelines. And if it's not good quality, they're like, I don't want to push it out, right? So over here to the right, I did give you a little how to set your phone, okay? You go to camera settings on your phone. Everybody's is a little different, but for iPhone, you go to settings. I can show you guys later. You go to camera and then there's record video, okay? And you set that to 1080p 60 frames per second. And it should tell you which ones there are. There's like 3 different ones. That one's going to help you really record well for TikTok. Okay. If you have a huge amount of area or storage on your phone, you could use this 4K at 30 frames per second. That's probably the best, but it does take up a lot of room on your phone. So just be wary of that. So this one here, 1080p with 60 frames per second should make really good videos for TikTok. Okay, that's a good one. So just be wary of that, okay? Use good lighting, get a clip light if you need as well, like I showed you guys. Okay, number 11, user preferences. I know this one's kind of interesting. I don't know if everyone's totally going to get it, but TikTok considers a user's language, location, and content interaction history. Okay, so language. If you live in a country where it's Spanish speaking, it's probably best to be doing Spanish speaking videos because TikTok is picking up on the local area, right? And it can also be language of your niche. So, you're talking about online business, you want to be saying those words, right? But definitely I think they're talking about language here, they're thinking of location. So it will use your IP address and your SIM card location to boost local content, especially if someone is new or hasn't had much engagement yet. Sorry, I missed that one. So that's something to think about, okay? Also, you can set your location here. If you see the red arrow, I don't think you guys can see that. Before you post, like underneath your hashtags, some of you, not all of you, may have this feature where it says location. I just play around with that. Usually it's around where you live, of course, but I have heard that if you change the location, if you are someone maybe in South Africa and you're trying to reach more of a North American audience or like our South America and you want to reach North America, if you can change your location, try it out and see what happens. Change it to North America, okay? But because it mostly depends on your IP address, I don't know how well that'll override it. If you want, also you can speak the location in your video. So if you're like, hey, Canadians, or you can use like Canadian flag or an American flag as like a little sticker icon. That also is going to trigger the algorithm like, okay, I'm talking to North America, I'm talking to Americans or whatever. That can help too. Okay, those are things that are going to help you get seen. So yeah, change your location. That might help if you are trying to reach a different area. Okay, so definitely depends on language, location, and then content interaction history. A lot of you guys may not know this, but this is huge. TikTok uses your past behavior to predict what you what want more of, or what your user wants more of, right? So they're going to look at your videos that you liked, that you watched to the end and that you rewatched, okay? They're going to look at the accounts you follow, the comments you've made and they've made, and videos that you've saved or shared, okay? So that's why it's so important that when you are in TikTok that you actually participate as part of the community, okay? So they do want you to watch other people in your niche or videos that are related to you that you would like. Watch it to the end, okay? Definitely engage. If you can, comment with more than one word. Comment with like at least 5 words, because that's going to tell the algorithm it's fine if you comment with an emoji. You're not going to get banned, but it's better if you comment with more words because it doesn't look like a robot or AI. So if you can comment like a nice, 5 words, like, wow, this is really great, I appreciate this, something like that, that's going to help. It's also going to help the person you're commenting on as well. Okay. So that's when, like, you got to make sure you're doing this too, because it's definitely helping your algorithm. Okay. So TikTok's basically like, what kind of content has this person interacted with the most and what creator style keeps them engaged? They're looking at that, guys. Okay. So just posting and leaving, and I'm guilty of that because I'm busy, but just posting and then taking off, it's not the best. So you want to be engaging, post, doesn't matter if you engage before or after, but just be engaging throughout the day or watching lives, commenting on lives. If you give a gift in a live, it's really great to comment right after because that helps trigger your points for that. There is a points for going live because that helps, again, showing how much gifts you give and how participatory you are. Okay. So if your content is aligning with your ideal audience already watching, TikTok is more likely to push it to them. Okay. So bottom line is, if you understand your audience and how they behave, what they like, what language they use, and where they're from, you can create content that the algorithm says, yes, this is the perfect match for the right person. Okay. So understanding all of these kind of guidelines and trying to get your video, I mean, you're not going to be able to follow every 14 guidelines in every video, but this is the kind of strategy that is going to help your videos get pushed out. Okay, so we're almost done through, I know there's 14, it's kind of a lot, but it's important that you understand this. And a lot of these programs, they don't teach you this. Okay, so also with TikTok, number 12, the engagement signals. Okay, this is where people, they like, they comment, they share, watch time, rewatches, all those things that people say, oh, comment from the bottom up. Honestly, I don't think that matters. You can if you want, or, engage from the bottom up. I honestly think this is, again, it's not a point system. It's more of a weighted system. Okay. So it looks at, it's evaluating your video's reach and visibility based on how your audience is interacting with it. Okay. So again, I don't think it matters how many times you post. I would rather you post something very quality. So we think quality over quantity so that people are wanting to engage and they're hitting the comments, the shares, the watch time, right? So what I like to look at it with just what's highlighted here in bright yellow. Okay. So I'll go through them, but likes and hearts, they're kind of weighted moderate. They're not as high as, say, comments. Comments really trigger the algorithm because it says, hey, this is engagement here. This video is good. People are commenting. Let's push it out more, right? Shares also very high. So again, the impact, they're like gold. They spread your content naturally. They create share-worthy videos. That's expanding your reach, okay? Watch time, though, watch time and completion rate, those are the highest, right? So you want to make sure that you have your audience either watching longer than 5 seconds, getting to at least 15 to 20 seconds is really going to help push your video out. You're going to get more views and most likely more engagement because you're landing on the For You page, okay? When you're on the For You page, that's where your audience is hanging out. That's who's going to comment too, and that's who wants to naturally watch you longer, right? So that's really important. The rewatch, again, super high, higher than anything else besides watch time. Again, if they can watch it again, it's going to really make a better, it's going to trigger the algorithm to keep pushing you out, right? Engagement velocity, also very high. It's not as high, but it's high. So what does that mean? When you make a video and someone starts commenting right away, that is engagement speed or engagement velocity. So that quickness, that's what TikTok likes. It's like, oh, she commented right away. He commented right away. This is a good video. Let's show it to more people. So always have that CTA of like, comment this, or ask a question, right? You can even comment on your own video if you want. That triggers a comment, and then, you know, ask a question in that comment, like, what do you guys, what's your biggest struggle, or let me know what you're selling, or whatever it is, whatever the video is about, right? And then profile visits and follows, moderate, and saves, moderate. So those are our user engagement signals. Some are weighted more than others, right? So that's something to think about, okay? So by mastering these engagement signals, you're going to be able to skyrocket your potential of reaching a bigger audience, gaining followers, and building a profitable TikTok presence, okay? So we're almost through these, okay? 13. Content freshness. TikTok really favors newer videos. So videos that are made within the last 7 days. It likes that the most. It will still push out older videos, especially if they have comments and watch time. I do think we have been on kind of a slow roll for a while. If you look back at your videos from like a month ago, they tend to be picking up. Okay, so they still get pushed out, but the newest ones are going to be the most favored. So if you're brand new and you don't have a lot of traction, posting often is good. Okay. But if you find that you're posting a lot and you're just kind of not hitting anything and you're not getting a lot of views, I would say, like I said, go back down to one, post something really quality. Okay. So TikTok's starting to pick you up as like, oh, okay, she's not just posting mediocre content. She's posting like, you know, favorable content now that you know how to work a little bit more with the algorithm. And we're going to do more of this as we go on. Okay. So the 14th, the last one, is you want to make sure that you're actually that you're getting good reactions. A lot of you may not know this, but you want to make sure you do an account check every so often, because sometimes what happens is we get kind of stuck in 200 views, or our videos don't tend to be getting pushed out, and we're like, what are we doing wrong? Or it's like against community guidelines. You get those sometimes. And sometimes it's just bots. And a lot of times if you just appeal it, it will get renewed. But if you don't know how to do that, you go to your TikTok Studio, okay? And I can do a live version of this if you need me to do it. But under TikTok Studio, you have something called Account Check. And you just push on it, and it will actually go through and look at every single one of your videos lately. And you should get it'll say either like, oh, your account's in good standing, and you get a green, or it'll show you which videos have been flagged. So when you well, I wouldn't get rid of them. You don't want to delete them, but you would either go appeal them, or maybe you hide them from public use and you just set them to private. And I showed you guys how to do that last week. That's going to help your algorithm too, because TikTok, again, wants you to be in good standings. So if you're not in good standings, that could be affecting you. So you want to do an account check every so often, make sure all your videos are good. Usually, you know, because your videos are only going out to like 20 people, 30 people, and your views might be like 20 to 30. That's usually pretty low. After a whole day, I would do an account check just to check. Yeah. Okay, so this is kind of, again, why I love TikTok tips, okay? TikTok tips, you don't necessarily have to talk about TikTok, but TikTok tips work so well with the algorithm. They work perfectly with all the 14 guidelines, okay? This is why I do them, because they gain traction, but they're short, they're value packed. So that means people are going to watch them all the way through, most likely. Okay. They're more likely to watch it. They're replay worthy, meaning you're going to get more rewatches as well. Again, if it's a clever tip, surprising, or dense, viewers are going to replay it and absorb it. Okay. Also, rewatch is very strong, right? The weight's very high. People are going to love that. If it's actionable advice, you might get more shares, right? This is the kind of thing why I love TikTok tips. It's going to trigger comments. People are going to be like, oh my God, I didn't know that. Thank you so much, right? Especially if you have it with relatable pain points, right? So these tips could be more on like, you know, how to make money online, or like just different types of products that are out there. And of course, your CTA would be like, by the way, if you want to know the one I'm using, comment ready. But this, when you do tips and education and value type content, it usually fits well with the algorithm. And that's what I'm talking about. This is why we like them. They're easy to save, right? People often go, oh, I need to know this later, and they're going to save it, right? People are often fast to engage. So it satisfies that engagement velocity. They're often like, thank you, this is great, I appreciate it, right? It promotes profile visits because often if you did one good thing, most people are like, oh, what else does she have? Again, also very good, especially if it's like part of a series. Series often do kind of well. Like, listen, today is day one, listen, come back tomorrow. I've got a second one, and you just do kind of like short 1-minute videos for 3 days on whatever topic. Those tend to do well, right? And then they're naturally loopable. Okay, so something like, here are the 3 tips that, X, Y, and Z that you need to be doing. So these kind of tips, this kind of tip education, I guess tips type content, that always works really well on TikTok because it satisfies all of the 14 guidelines. Okay. So we'll do questions in a second. I'm just going to go through a little bit more of the CTA and then we're good. It's kind of a short one tonight, guys. Okay. So again, what is a CTA? Most of you probably know this, but a CTA is a call to action. It's a directive that encourages your audience to take a specific action after consuming your content. So over here, I've got it like follow, like, comment, save, those are CTAs. I like telling people to do these things in my video because, again, people need to be told what to do. They're scrolling, they don't know, they're not listening. And so, like, it's just human nature. When you say, follow me or comment this, people more likely to do that. And it satisfies the algorithm guidelines, right? So another one would be like, click the link in my bio. Those are fine, but they're not the best because it doesn't encourage engagement. Okay, so I don't mind if you say click the link in my bio, but then make sure you follow with, a comment. Okay, so both of those are good. You can fill out the CTAs throughout your video. You don't just have to do one. Like you could, part of our subhook last week, listen, hang out with me for a minute. That's also a CTA. It's a call to action. Like you're hanging out, right? Drop a comment if you're ready and you want to learn more. You're telling your audience, tell me what you need. Follow me for more content like this. Again, also CTA, follow, like, save, share, right? And we know why, because people don't listen, they don't do it unless you tell them. That's just how it is. Why are they essential? Because, like I said, most people will scroll away. It increases engagement and visibility. TikTok loves that. It rewards engagement, meaningful comments, likes, and shares. All part of satisfying the algorithm. Saving this for later. You can be creative in the way you do or present your CTAs. It doesn't have to be super obvious, but it does help, right? It converts viewers into customers, hopefully, right? That's what we want. If you're selling a digital product, a service, or coaching, a CTA is how you get them to move from just watching you to actually buying, right? We want to get them to our capture page or our stand store or our funnel, right? But something like a weak CTA, again, I still think, link in my bio is fine, but it's a bit weak. Check out my website. Like, you're not getting them to engage with you. A stronger one would be like, comment ready. I'm ready to grab my free checklist. It'll help you start making sales today. Okay. So they're going to comment, I'm ready. And then you're going to comment underneath that and say, okay, now go to the link in my bio. That way you've captured the engagement. You don't want to make a video without anybody commenting because you're missing out on that one potential sale and not following the guidelines of TikTok. And they love comments. Engagement's like one of the biggest signals we want to be using. Okay. There are some types of CTAs. So direct CTAs, there are 4. They're quick and clear, like follow for more tips. That's a quick one, right? Value-driven CTAs, you offer something in return. I always do these. These work really, really well when you offer free gifts or tools or even tips, right? Download my free content calendar to stay consistent, or listen, I've got a free tool for you that's going to help you learn how to, I don't know, make money online, whatever that might be, right? It's getting leads, it's getting people to sign up. That's what you want. Urgency-based CTAs, the FOMO effect. I didn't know what FOMO was for the longest time. FOMO is fear of missing out, okay? Only 3 spots left, don't miss out. I mean, this is sales language now, guys, but it's driving that immediate action. And then engagement CTAs, that encourages comments and shares, kind of like what we were talking about, I always like, if you've made a video and you don't really have something, it's more of a nurturing video and it's not so much a sales video, or like you're trying to get them to your capture page, you could do, like, what's your biggest struggle, or have them ask a question, you be the first comment, and have them comment below that. That's fine. It doesn't always have to be a sales video. And like me, at the end of every one of my videos, I always ask a question and I use a sticker as the call to action, because it's bold and it's bright. And then I always add my handle. So I'm Uplift with Amy. That's part of branding, right? You don't have to do that, although I suggest you do, because people, the more they see it, the more they're going to remember it, right? If you're not going to write it on the screen, at least say it. At least, 80% of your videos, like, hey, I'm Sarah from so-and-so, or, so that they start picking up, and the algorithm picks up who you are and what your profile is about. Okay, really good to do. So I always say put your handle in there. Okay, so a CTA too can, you guys know this stuff, but a high converting CTA are going to be things like action words, like unlock, discover, grab, ready, now. Like I use thrive, it's just a little bit better than just like, yes, but you can use whatever you want. I like finding the sticker type things because it just makes for a more colorful, more engaging, and it stands out. Again, place them strategically. So you can put some in the beginning of your video, like the sub hook, stay to the end. I'll show you how to get my free checklist. That's just, you can put that right after your hook. You could have one in the middle, want more tips like this? Click the link in my bio. So they are going to go after. And then you have one at the end. Okay. Now that you know the strategy, take action, download the guide, right? So you can use CTAs throughout the video. It's definitely fine. And keep it benefit focused, right? Instead of join my course or join my program, I would say join my opportunity. Opportunity usually goes better than program, course, class. Okay. Opportunity is like, oh, I have an opportunity. I like that, to make money. It's less salesy. So join my opportunity to learn how to start your online business, right? Keeping those words you and your in there. Again, it puts the emphasis on your audience. Really important. And then test them, you guys. Okay, test your CTAs. Look, constantly be checking your data. I guess not constantly, but after a few days, go back and look at your stats. Go back and look at your data. You want to see how you're improving. Okay, and this is my last slide, because this is what I want to show you. Before I learned all of this, before I found my mentor, before I even understood that TikTok had 14 rules or guidelines, I was just posting to post. I had terrible watch time. I would get like 200-300 views, okay, which again, not terrible. There's nothing wrong with that. But if people are falling off at 5 seconds, which they were back in June of 2024, okay, I had to learn all summer. I took the summer last year to really learn this well. And then I improved my stats because I understood how to work with the algorithm. I understood how to have a hook, how to have a good sub hook, how to have a good CTA, how to get longer watch time. And so what happened is my watch time went from like 5 seconds to like 40 seconds. This is a really good video, by the way. Not all of mine are 40 seconds, but 20 to 30, 40 seconds. God, if you can get them to watch the whole way, that's incredible. I've never had a video where someone watched the entire time, unless it's like 3 seconds. But usually my videos are talking type videos. So if you can have a minute video and someone's watching 43 seconds, that's really, really good. So yeah, looking at your watch time, your views, right? Maybe you get a lot of followers on some, that's fine. Maybe you don't have the best watch time, but you got a lot of followers on it. That's still good, right? Because that's triggering the algorithm. So you want to look at your views. Views are okay, but I'm more interested in your watch time, how long they stayed watching the, watched full video right here. How many followers you got from that video? I didn't get many, but I had a long watch time. So that video got pushed out. Or down here, your retention rate, at least 20 to 30%. That's what we want. Anything less than that may not be good. But that's what I'm saying. You can have other aspects of your data that's going to say, oh, well, you know what? This actually helped it. So understanding how to work with this algorithm, guys, is really going to just kind of help you pick up your content. And that's why I say strategically, knowing this now, you can do videos around that. And that's why I always say like tip type videos, TikTok tips always work really well when you are introducing, even if you've just learned one thing in TikTok, show us that thing that you learned, like how to add the sticker or the trending sound, or, what you learned here in Rise and Thrive, how to add a hashtag. If you want, you can go through the TikTok tips. I have a whole section in there, and the very last one there's like 20 tips in there with links to videos that I've done. If you find one of those videos useful, by all means, recreate it yourself and just do what I did, because that helped me gain that traction. Because in the beginning, I didn't have traction. I was getting 200 views, 300 views. No one was watching very long, like 5 seconds, right? And after I learned all of this and started applying it and to my content is when I saw my engagement increase, my watch time increase, my data, everything increase. So my videos are now getting pushed out. I started gaining traction, and this is when I started seeing sales. Okay. So again, it's kind of it all goes together. Just because you have one video that got really, really well stats doesn't necessarily mean you're going to have sales, but it means you're on the right track. So the more videos that you have with really good data, over a month, and you look at it and, you've had 10 really good performing videos, not just with views, but with watch time and all of that, that's going to tell you that you're on the right track, that you're reaching your target market. Because why? Your target market wants to watch you. It's just natural. Your target market are people just like you. And if you're landing on the For You page, they're naturally just watching you longer. So that's kind of it for my presentation as far as, the algorithm goes. There is all of this, guys, is in the community under the resource section as far as the 14 rules of the algorithm, the user engagement signals, which ones are weighted more. But I will attach under the recording, I will attach them again so you can have them find them easy. But I mean, this is important stuff. This is just like foundational TikTok strategies, because I think most of our programs don't teach us, right? So it's important to know these things, and we can build from there. So anyway, you guys, are there any questions on any of that? I know it's kind of a lot, but I do like to at least plant the seed for you guys, because like I said, you can go back and watch it later too, but it's all kind of there condensed nicely for you. So you don't have to chat GPT it or anything like that. But you will find that if you look this up, it is a real thing. It's not like I just pulled it out of my hat or something like that. So anybody have a question, go ahead and raise your hand, or so we don't have too many people on. I guess you could just unmute. Everybody's okay? Are there any questions in the chat? I always forget to look at the chat. I'm sorry, you guys. Okay, it could push it out to people who aren't your ideal customer. Were you talking about going viral? I'm not sure which one that was. I've done this and instructed others in the community. I'm also not the, okay, I wasn't sure. Thank you, Martin. Sorry, Denise, I wasn't exactly sure what you're talking about. Trending sounds. Okay, yeah, trending sounds. What's a sweater? Oh, you guys are funny. I appreciate that. I'm looking at the comments over here. But yeah, I mean, the thing with going viral too, it can help you, but it can also be detrimental. And so that's why I'm like, go ahead and try and get some traction, but sometimes it can also attract an audience that maybe isn't your target market, that they may not want to buy from you. So that's why I'm always kind of like, even though you go viral and maybe get 20,000 views, which is great for your profile, it is. But if that video really didn't get any sales or much engagement, it's not really helpful. And TikTok can just be like, well, she just likes it when anybody likes her stuff. And so we're going to send it to, the Russian guy who just likes to game. And we're going to send it to this, girl in Spain. And we got some South Americans in Nigeria. Like, it's just all over. And these people aren't maybe into online business. And that's why I say, don't do the follow trains and the grow rooms either. But, that's what I'm saying. Keep it on trend, but don't always just be pushing for views. Okay. We want to be pushing for the engagement, the watch time, which we showed you, right? How long they're watching, right? Those are all really more important than the views. Okay. The views, they're great. Views are great. I'm not going to lie, but you really want the engagement more. Okay. And so that's why I'm like CTAs are so important. You got to put them in there. That subhook's going to get them watching longer too. Make sure if you didn't watch last week's training, I totally suggest you do that because we did all on hooks and subhooks, and that's how you get people to really watch longer, and that retention rate increases as well. Ingrid, short videos get more views, anything longer than 30 seconds, not. Yeah, shorter views are better because exactly that, because you're more likely to get the audience to watch all of it. And when people watch all the way through, it triggers the algorithm to push out your video. So shorter videos are going to work. I think it's fine to have a mix. So if you want to do mostly short videos, great. But then at least once or twice in the week, do a talking video so that your audience, the people who are watching you, your target market and your followers know more about you. Okay. Because a lot of times people will just do these short form meme type videos and they tend to perform well, but then their audience knows nothing about them. Not much. It's just kind of like, oh, she's got a kid, but I've never really heard her talk, you know? Like it's good to do both, right? And we haven't covered a lot of branding yet, but I would say having a mix of content. So yeah, the meme type videos where they're kind of short second, so 8 seconds or less, 10 seconds even are fine. Some talking ones are going to be good. Using the trending sounds in your memes. Yeah. Having some inspirational ones. Those are really, really good. If you're wondering what kind of content to post, definitely go back and watch our first training or second training on the core values, because that's honestly what our foundation of our brand is built on, is who we are as a person. And that's what people are going to resonate with. Okay. They're not buying they're not buying the product. So understanding who you are and those core values, that's really what we create content around. And of course, you can incorporate the 4 F's, which is family, faith, if you have a faith, or maybe you just are, spiritual, that's fine. Your finances, so anything about money, tips and tricks and stuff like that, right? And what was it? Family, faith, I'm missing one. Finances, and what's the last one I'm missing, Tom? The 4 F's. Oh, fitness. I found it. There we go. The 4 F's, because that's generally what people are interested in. Okay. And so if you do exercise and you walk or you do anything outside, that's good content. People love that. In fact, the whole industry in marketing is based on relationships and wealth. I think that's like the most biggest products are like romance, wealth, and there's like, oh, and vitamins. I think that's the biggest thing that in the industry. So, when we're thinking of our content, yeah, think of your finances, your family, your fitness, and your faith. Those are kind of things you can base it on. If that's just again to help with content, but that's part of more branding. Like I said, inspirational ones work really well too. So that's all going to help, guys. That's all going to help you guys. Let's see, are there any more comments? You're mixing. Okay, good, Ingrid. That's awesome. TikTok and I are in love and hate situation. Yeah. I do understand too, guys, that a lot of we're not shadow banned, okay? I'm definitely not shadow banned, but the digital marketing, the make money online, they're fine to say, but just understand that the people that have a lot of traction, we're kind of comparing ourselves to them, and we're like, but how come they're doing so well? They've been in it longer than you. Okay. They've done well. They've built traction. Those words are tending to be more, I wouldn't say they're not flagged. I'd say triggered a little bit. So if you can say more words like online business, that's probably going to help a little more. Okay. Because they're trying to really keep the content to original content. So a lot of us are in here, we're all kind of saying the same thing, which is fine, but we end up kind of being a little bit too promotional. And then TikTok kind of sees us as commercials rather than content. So that's another reason for maybe your lower views. Again, it's not going to hurt you, but just don't think of it like, oh God, I'm not getting thousands and thousands of views anymore. 2025, they're really kind of narrowing it down a little. So it's still fine to use them, but just understand that's probably why. Okay. That's probably why your views are lower than they were before. So it's good to think about that. A lot of times the digital product, again, it can not shadow ban, but it's a little bit more affected than somebody that's just you know, like you see these some contents, they're just these profiles or these people, they're just like posting dance videos and they have nothing to do and they get like in the millions, right? So it depends on who you are. TikTok really promotes original content, creativity, um, and when there's, you know, hundreds and thousands of people all promoting a similar product or in the digital marketing business or make money online, it can sometimes come off kind of scammy. So they're being careful. Okay. So just understand that. That's probably why our views are a little low. So definitely keeping up with the good SEO. That's really going to help. Okay. Because at least it tells TikTok what you're about. And definitely keeping up with the proper hooks, sub hooks, you know, keeping it all in alignment. Okay. But I do want to share that with you because I know people are like, God, my views are so low. And yeah, it is a thing. It is a thing for sure. But it doesn't mean you're shadow banned. It just means they're kind of watching videos now that are making sure they're not scammy, right? So you can definitely be successful though. I don't want you to get discouraged. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Are there any other comments? Everybody's good? And you can unmute. Feel free to unmute. Show yourself. I hope this was helpful, you guys. Thank you so much for coming. And like I said, I will put the replay tonight, most likely, if not in the morning, with the complement or supplemental PDFs. And, you know, guys, I'm more than happy to bring, if you guys want to bring people, you're more than welcome to promote this community if you're finding it useful. All you do is send them the link from the about page, like at the very top. Just send that link that's in the URL and they can join. It is only $10 a month. Cancel anytime, right? Like come in, tell them to come in, get all the resources. I doubt they'll leave, but you never know. I mean, I'm fine with that. I am. But I think most people tend to stay. A lot of you guys have, so I appreciate that. And if there's anything you guys want more help on, definitely let me know. Let Tom and I know in the community under like general discussion or questions. Big bang for your buck here. Yeah, I know, right, Denise? Thank you. Because yeah, this is how I help, right? I help serve because, well, one, I learn it and then I share it. That's what I do best. I teach it. Um, like I said, I did really well last year with mastering online profit because I just learned the strategy so well. And I just continue it on because I feel like a lot of these programs just don't teach it. I haven't seen it. I do go through some, but I haven't really seen any on SEO. I don't think anyone else has taught about the algorithm. Has any of your programs taught the algorithm rules? Probably not, right? Yeah.
I got a question.
Yeah.
What program are you promoting now?
Right now, I promote DWA, Digital Wealth Academy. The reason I like that one is because it aligns with what I do. I make multiple legs of it. I have multiple streams of income, and that's exactly what DWA teaches. And I appreciate that because I don't want to just always be doing digital marketing. And DWA teaches like e-commerce, affiliate marketing, UGC, which is user generated content. They teach men's marketing. They teach TikTok shop. They teach, so that would be like brand deals and collaborations, because I find a lot of people, they're not able to connect on camera very well because they have imposter syndrome because they haven't made any money yet. And so they feel like, it's hard. And so what I always say is try something different. And what's great about UGC, user generated content, is, and I've said this in my lives, is that maybe there's a product that you love, Ron, that you use every day, right? Maybe you have like a tool that you use and you're like, you know what, I could represent this company, you know? So they teach you in DWA. In fact, there's an entire course on how to reach out to these companies, they create the contract, and these companies will pay you to do videos using their product. And why I say that is because you're so much more authentic when you feel comfortable using the product, or you know, you've have experience, use it every day, like ladies with the makeup, right? Makeup tutorials do so well and people feel confident, and so it just becomes that much more authentic through the lens. And then I say practice that and then come back to, you know, maybe selling a digital product, right? Again, it's just a different avenue. They teach print on demand, which is what I do as well. And then of Amazon, they teach how to monetize on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Like it's insane. Like it's all in there. And that's why I love it. because that way I can work with everybody and not just be like, hey, you can only do TikTok, face forward, sell your digital product. There's different ways to be successful, yet it's all online. So it's like all online sales, and that's where the world is headed, right? AI, digital, but then also just being online. I really, really like it. It's like half the cost of most programs, but like 10 times the value. It is a commission product, meaning you make 85%. So you make about $422 every time you sell it. So I really, really like that one. So I have that one. I also have Roadmap because they both kind of go together as far as like business development and choosing a way to what area of interest you want to go with and how to monetize that. Those both are my favorite because like I said, MOP's no longer, unfortunately. So I had to find another program. And then, you know, it also teaches you how to make your own digital products, like really teach you, not just like, yeah, good luck, you know.
You still have Legacy though, don't you?
I have it, but I don't promote it.
Okay. I think I signed up under you under that.
Maybe you did.
Maybe, maybe not. I don't know.
I had a hard time selling Legacy because I found most people couldn't resell it. Like they would buy it, but then they wouldn't be able to resell it. And I just didn't feel like one, it's very expensive for most. I know you can come in at a lower price and upgrade. But it's a great place for beginners to get their feet wet. But I found it didn't teach a lot past the reselling program. So it's very uh one-sided in a sense. Like it's great to learn, you know, storytelling, marketing, how to be on social media, but when you're ready to scale and grow and like maybe make your own products, it doesn't really teach you that. It's pretty much based on how to resell that one. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's fine. Michelle's an amazing coach. She does these daily videos every single day. Fantastic. So I really like it for that aspect, but for me, I needed to keep growing and scaling, and that's what I do. So I have, you know, my 6 legs of income, and it really aligns well with DWA. But I think all of them are great. That's why I'm like, whatever resonates, you got to go with what resonates, right? Otherwise,
Are people being successful with DWA?
oh yeah. In
Whatever.
fact, there's twice as many members as uh Legacy. So Legacy is like 53, 54,000. Um, DWA has 111,000 members. They sell in fact, they've made the most 6 and 7 figure earners because most people don't resell the program. They come in and learn what's in the program so that
Okay.
they can dive into their own business. But it is resellable. So, but only like 30% resell it, which kind of makes it a nice open market for all of us. You know, I mean, nothing's saturated anyway, but just a different avenue. It is similar to SWC in the sense that it teaches multiple legs of income, like completely different business ideas, right? Not just for price points of the same program, because that's Legacy. It's not really multiple, it's just different price points.
No, it's just,
It's which is
you're not
fine.
selling the $900 program, you might as
It's
well not.
yeah, it's still the program though, right? It's not actually
Yeah.
something different. But again, whatever works, right? It has the biggest return as far as, you know, the $900, but a lot of, you know, there's just more inexpensive options out there, and I think people are leaning towards that because of one, the more value that it gives, and then of course the price point is better for most.
So you're saying they don't get frustrated with it because they don't have to show their face and they can jump into all the other different things that your program's showing.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
there's so
mean,
many different things that they're gonna fail at anyway.
that's what that's why I
I
like
mean,
it.
they're not easy, but people don't know that, so they can look at the whole.
Yeah, that's because I say that to people. Like you know, I audit and I help people, and I'm like, let's look at other directions for you, you know, because we get so hung up on like, I only can sell this program, and that's the only way I can make millions of dollars. It's like there are so many avenues for people to be successful online. You do not have to just resell a program. There's a lot of different ways. And I'm proof of it. Like I did 6 figures last year, but it wasn't from selling just one program. I had my Etsy shop, I have my print on demand, I've got my affiliate marketing, I have digital marketing. We've got our subscription, like we've got like lots going on. And once one kind of starts going, you generally don't have to spend a ton of time on one. You know, it ends up being a little more passive, right? But it takes a minute, right? And I don't want to overwhelm people either. I would say multiple legs is when you're ready, you've kind of mastered one thing, because otherwise if you're beginner, I'm like, just stick to one thing so you don't get overwhelmed, learn that one platform, learn that one program, and then move on. Or you're just so frustrated and you want to try a different avenue, great, then try something different. But yeah. Thank you, Ron.